Hey, Unapologetic Truth, back again. Part 2 of my book share, The Family Encyclopedia of the Bible. I wanted to share this page. Didn't work out when I was trying to video this yesterday, so had to do another take, which tends to happen. But I wanted to show this particular page, or these pages, showing Bible history at a glance. So this is a comprehensive timeline. And again, I thought it was awesome. And I wanted to share this with you. So getting started at the top here, my understanding anyway, with the pyramids, my understanding was that the pyramids were built by slaves. And I even thought that's what was highlighted in the movie 10 Commandments. Now, I could be wrong. Share your thoughts on that with me. But according to this timeline, it says that the pyramids were built before 2000 BC, or maybe around in that time. One thing I'm looking at now, it's saying Jericho already was several thousand years old. So it's just amazing that these things can be found. Many of this information is still at our disposal. And it does say here that many of the dates on the chart are approximate. So they can't really go into specifics on many of the dates. They don't have that particular information. All they can do is give an approximate time frame. But thanks be to Yah that we even have those details. Again, that's why it's so important to have these books, these hard books, these hard copies to be able to refer to, so they're not distorting reality in the way they are definitely trying to do, trying to wipe out history, especially history of the children of Yasharal. So moving on. So the timeline in the white here, you'll see the timeline. It shows the book of the Bible. And as we kind of go on, you'll see those books highlighted in the white. I don't believe there's any particular color scheme that's specific to anything. I mean, they're not giving a key that really highlights any of that information, but it looks like, and this is orange, excuse the coloring, might come through looking more red, but the book, in the book, it looks kind of orange, and maybe because it's an older book, but so I wanted to point out that as well, but not going to be long. Just briefly want to go over this. You can see some of these details here with the timelines. Abraham leaving Ur, Yaqub or Jacob's family settling in Egypt. And of course it breaks down Isaac, Yaqub, Joseph here, Israel and Egypt. And there you see right here where the Israelites become slaves in Egypt. So the pyramids were built way before that. Now, it does say further that Pharaoh Sethos I and Ramses II built great cities in the Nile Delta. So that could be what was highlighted in the Ten Commandments. Again, my apologies if I misconstrued anything there, but that was always my understanding, was that the slaves built the pyramids. And we don't even want to get into the specifics of that, because how can something that's deemed as one of the 8 wonders of the world be made with human hands? But I digress. Some of us don't really want to go down the rabbit hole, but I don't mind going down the rabbit hole, because that's where a lot of truth is that's been hidden from us. But anyway, moving on. So you see more about the books: Exodus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. And Egypt to Canaan. The Exodus, Israelite escape from Egypt. So this was around that time between 1300 and 1200 BC. A lot of invasions were going on during this time as well. There is where Saul, David and Solomon, they came into being in power. And again, you see the books of the Bible that they correspond with. There's a temple being built. And moving on here. Get a little closer so y'all can get a better understanding. There's Ahab and Jezebel, or Jezebel, enforcing their Baal worship. Here's the poetry and wisdom books of the Bible, such Song of Solomon, Psalms, or Tehillim. There's the books of the prophets. More exile, which we know, Nineveh, the Assyrians. The Assyrian capital falls to Babylon. And there's where Daniel, he comes in here. King Nebuchadnezzar. Jerusalem falls to Nebuchadnezzar during that time. There's the Assyrian Empire, Babylonian Empire, and Jerusalem being destroyed, Jerusalem. Temples rebuilt. And here's Cyrus of Persia. He, of course, was instrumental in helping to get the temple rebuilt, or give the permission for that. This is Nehemiah and Ezra. There are books there. And again, they were also key in getting the walls of Jerusalem rebuilt. Xerxes and Queen Esther. Then we're going on here, and it's Alexander the Great his conquest and death, the Maccabean revolt. See how that's been taken out of the Bible? But it's in the Apocrypha. First and Second Maccabees talks about the Maccabean revolt. That's instrumental because a lot of that still pertains today. And we know the so-called Israelites are experiencing conflict as we speak, or as I speak. Romans take control of Palestine. Antony and Cleopatra, there's their era. And now, you see here, the birth of Yahushua HaMashiach, as the world terms Jesus Christ. So what I find interesting overall, and much of this, many of us have had to endure this in high school, learning about Egyptology, Egypt mythology, Greek mythology, rather than practical things that we need for everyday living. We're given this. But one thing that just bears more proof, that gives you more proof of Messiah's existence, is the years. If you look here, it starts at 2000 BC, is where BC meaning before Christ. Now, the years count down all throughout here. They start counting down until you get to 10 and then 0. 0, the birth of Yahushua. And this is the life of Yahushua. All this in this area begins Herod and Yahushua's life in here in the gold. His baptism. Here's the Bible. The books of the Bible that it pertains to. Yahushua's death and resurrection. But if you notice, you see how that is a 0? And then it starts AD 10. The count increases. It goes back up. AD meaning after death. That's after Messiah's death. So if he had bore no significance, if he did not exist and he wasn't as important as he is, why would they build a whole timeline of years of how to interpret centuries back in that time frame? Why would they do all that if he bore no significance? Something to think about too. Anyway, so wrapping up here, you have Paul's letters, his ministry, Shaul. You have Pontius Pilate, Caligula, Claudius, the Roman I thought this was interesting too. The Roman conquest of Britain began. King Herod, Agrippa. So this is Paul's ministry. and also Yochanan or John's revelation and his death. So I just wanted to share this with you. I pray it was a blessing for you guys as it was for me. See you on the next one, Yah willing. Shalom, everybody.